126. Yeah, 91. Yes, so I can say, let's start from the Constitution. First and foremost, the Constitution in Article 45 says that the EC shall embark on programs that would enable it to enlarge the voter registration. Okay? So the population that registers, it says that the EC shall embark on such programs. And so, once the Constitution is giving them a charge, so I'm looking at Article 45, Clause 45E. It says, the Electoral Commission shall have the following functions. The E, to undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of voters. To undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of voters, right? That's one. So they are the other ones, compile the voters register. But I'm looking at the expansion. So we are creating the context. So where the Constitution says that undertake programs for the expansion of the registration of voters, it makes sense that in a case like this, and coupled with CI 91, when you have CI, I don't have my copy here, the CI 91 says that there should be a program for what? Continuous registration. Continuous registration. And yet, we've seen that in the times past, EC has not been able to deliver on this mandate. So, naturally, once the EC is now going to do the limited voter registration, you would expect that accessibility will be key, number one, on the radar. Because there's a constitutional injunction. Do programs to expand registration of voters. CR 91 says, make facilities available for continuous registration. You don't do it. So now that there's an opportunity to do it, it's only reasonable. And you see, Honorable Asefua mentioned earlier, Article 296, when you are exercising a discretion, exercise it in a fair and candid manner. Fair. So now that citizens haven't had the opportunity to register since 2020, right? And you are now going to do it. Why don't you do it at all the centers as much as possible? Yes, so that you will be adhering to the Constitution, 45E. You're expanding the voter registration. And also, you're going by CI 91 that you should do continuous registration. That's the way I see it. Anything short of that, no. And you see, it ties in with everything we've been saying every week about poverty. Poverty. People are complaining. I understand some of the district offices where the limited registration is going to take place are more than 100 kilometers away from some of the citizens. So if you have to travel more than 100 kilometers, in a country where at least 11% of the citizens are poor, and when we say poor, by the World Bank standards, living on less than $1.90. So if I just convert roughly 24 Ghana cedis, less than 24 Ghana cedis, you're expecting such people to board vehicles, to go over 100 kilometers to go and register. That's illusory. So it means that this voter, the limited registration that you're going to do, is illusory. It's not accessible to poor citizens. And we have complained ad nauseum that President Kpebu needs to do something about this poverty. And this poverty, and this council, let me mention in passing that, because, as I said, for me, the way I understand it is that, look, this thing is all about poverty, poverty, poverty. Look, as part of it, you will see, I've seen this program, Agricultural Water Management Project, that they're supposed to do in the north to help citizens, be able to undertake farming activities, to be able to alleviate poverty. For 6 months, since Honorable Brian Champon took over, he hasn't implemented the project, and farmers in the north are suffering. So for me, I see it as interrelated, because every time we discuss these topics, if we don't get into poverty, then we haven't said anything. So the point I'm making is that where you have over 3 million citizens living on less than 24 Ghana cedis a day, right? And then there is even government project to alleviate their poverty, and government is not doing. Then this is a slap in the face to say that Such citizens, 24 Ghana cedis, you should travel 100 kilometers. You know how much it costs to go 100 kilometers to go and register? So there's a disconnect. So the EC's program, it's not, there's a disconnect. The EC doesn't understand the dynamics, that poverty is such a huge problem. You see, because we are in Accra, and then sometimes you think, oh, even 50 Ghana you use for a snack, you just presume that every part of the country, everybody is well off. No, poverty is a huge problem. Huge problem. So EC should look at that side. You should look at it. Because of the poverty, over 3 million Ghanaians living on less than 24 Ghana cedis a day. You say the World Bank says $1.90. So this is the way I understand it. And don't forget, we read the laws together. We read all the laws together, and there's a context. So EC cannot just say, oh, it's my discretion. I will decide where to do limited registration. No.
I see. So this is Article 42 that you made reference to, which
and
is
45.
and 42 and 45.
Yes.
This one talks about the right to vote.
Yes.
The fundamental right of every citizen of Ghana of 18 years of age or above and of sound mind has a right to vote and is entitled to be registered as a voter for the purposes of public elections and referenda. And no administrative process should be put in place to deny any citizen who is 18 years and above and all these qualifications from being registered to vote.
Absolutely. That would be voter suppression. So the EC is deliberately engaging in voter suppression. Because 42 is clear, it's entitled, and then you look at the Supreme Court case of Tenadi versus EC. The man who went on peacekeeping, he was out of the country, came back, then they said, no. The Supreme Court was very clear. Make it accessible for him to be able to what? Register to vote. So we've had Tenadi. It's easy. Where the Supreme Court, I think it's 98 or something like that. Well, the year doesn't matter, but it's a popular case. So the Supreme Court was very clear that 42, don't put such impediments. Don't put such impediments. You see? So the EC has to come again. And it's not every time that the EC has to wait to be dragged to the Supreme Court. It's just untenable. It means that every time the EC is embroiled in litigation, when would the EC ever get it right? That look, this one, we just want to do it the way it has to be done. You think you can wish away the poverty? People are really hungry, eh? Yeah, people are really, times are hard. So the EC should look at it in that light and make sure that they bring the registration centers to the doorstep of the citizenry. Yes, there's money. They